Good. When it all happened, I was filming away. So, there was, I'm like the rock of the family, especially when it comes to, times where it's like family is really needed, and now I think.
I don't mean to be the super big brother dad, but this is nuts. I might record the whole ride. I might run out of storage.
I forgot my license is in my name.
Oh, you need that. What'd you get?
My license.
And what do you need to drive?
This story never actually cooled off. It just went quiet. And that's the dangerous part. Because now there's talk that Quincy Brown may be working on a documentary-style project centered around Kim Porter's timeline, with 50 Cent possibly connected. If that's true, this isn't just conversation anymore. It's a reset. This update hit different, especially for people who felt the story around Kim Porter was brushed past. The 50 Cent-backed Diddy documentary barely touched the questions that never went away. And instead of calming things down, that silence did the opposite. The internet never stopped talking. It just whispered.
A shocked and devastated Diddy spotted at the home where his ex suddenly and mysteriously died. Her good friend Kimora Lee Simmons appearing inconsolable at the house, 47-year-old Porter's body found after a desperate call to 911.
EMS 14, respond with engine 76 on scene of the...
Now those whispers are getting louder, because the word going around is that Kim's oldest son, Quincy, could be linking up with 50 on a series-style rollout that puts Kim front and center. That rumor alone set the timeline on fire. Especially because people remember Quincy showing up at Diddy's trial for one day, one appearance, and then disappearing. To some, that looked like silent loyalty. To others, it looked calculated. Here's what stands out, though. Quincy never went online playing defense. No speeches, no emotional posts, no messy back and forth. He didn't move loud. He didn't move sloppy. He stayed calm, stayed controlled, and kept his distance. That alone separated him from the chaos surrounding this entire situation.
Basically.
Do you believe that she died of pneumonia?
Absolutely not.
Why? What evidence do you have?
She was in the best of health. We just saw each other prior to her passing. We were actually celebrating our son's new Netflix Christmas special, and she was doing just fine. In fact, we were all at the event together at Netflix in the lobby. Sean, myself, the children, all having a great time. And I'm, grabbing Sean like, what? And she's in the back going, stop. There's no, like I said, this is not marketing for me. I'm living this life. And the only reason I wanted to tell the story, Kurt, was very specifically because I was ignored. There was the most expensive PR campaign against me to shut me down.
Are you concerned that he still has power outside of incarceration?
Remember, I'm the only one who spoke up, and I'm the only one left alive. So this is not about a scared thing, it's just time to reveal the truth. I mean, it is what it is. I went through many, many years of scrutiny and being dragged face first on the concrete, being called.
People also keep pointing out another key detail. Unlike several other names connected to Diddy's headlines, Quincy has never been personally accused of wrongdoing in the public record. That clean image is exactly why some see him as different, even though Diddy helped raise him. Now the conversation is shifting into strategy talk. Some online theories frame Quincy's silence, not as weakness, but as a move. As if he stayed close just long enough to protect his sisters, avoid the splash zone, and keep his footing while everything around him stayed unstable.
Coma in 2022, you had the liver transplant, you had the tracheotomy, all that stuff that went on.
Multi-system organ failure.
Yeah, wow.
60.
Right. Have they figured out what happened yet?
We will.
No, I mean, have the doctors medically, what happened to you?
Yeah,
So, because you just collapsed, right?
Yeah, so, just mysteriously out of the blue, which we do talk about in the book.
Yeah.
If you actually knew what they did to me, there was a bounty on my head. There was a bunch of stuff.
So do you think specifically then that Sean Diddy Combs or people affiliated with him did something to you that caused you to have multi-organ failure?
I believe this to be the case, yes. Absolutely.
Wow.
Then Diddy gets locked up, and the energy changes. With Diddy behind bars, people believe Quincy may finally be in a position to tell the story on his terms. Not as an accusation, but as a deep dive into Kim's life, the official timeline, and the unanswered questions that never stopped following her name. And if 50 Cent is really involved, that adds gasoline. Because 50 doesn't enter stories quietly, he enters to shake the room. Quincy has always moved differently from Diddy's other sons, and people have noticed it for years. Even during major moments when the family was under pressure, Quincy wasn't the one feeding the noise.
An enemy that has a position of influence in your child's life, and knowing that that person sends you notes and messages every now and then. If you don't do this, if you don't do that, that boy is dead.
That's why some of the wilder internet theories took off, claims of protection or double games. But the visible facts don't really support the extreme versions, especially since Quincy was still seen standing with the family publicly. So most people circle back to the same core point. Quincy stayed silent about his mother. No sit-down interviews, no public blame, no viral speeches, just quiet. And now the timing is what has everyone leaning in. Because if a full documentary is actually being built, focused on Kim, the tension behind the scenes, and the questions that never got answers, then this isn't gossip anymore.
Know that Kim, and it's in the this is in the documentation, shout out the paperwork. He looked in the paperwork and it said Kim received a massage for about an hour when she's supposed to have full-blown pneumonia. Who gives somebody a massage when they got pneumonia? And do we know whether she used that baby oil or not for that massage? It makes you say,
It's a rollout. And once a spotlight hits a story like this, the internet doesn't let go. On November 15, 2018, Kim Porter was found unresponsive at her Los Angeles home. A family member reportedly found her in bed, and by the time help arrived, it was too late. She was 47 years old, and the shock was instant. The official report later listed lobar pneumonia as the cause of death, ruled natural. On paper, that sounds clean. But publicly, it's the timeline that keeps people stuck. Reports say Kim first complained of a sore throat around November 7th. By November 12th, she reportedly developed a fever. The speed of that progression is one reason people still question whether every detail was fully explained. She reportedly tested negative for flu and strep, was treated with antibiotics and medication, and according to her family, by November 14th, she appeared to be improving. Her temperature reportedly dropped. She seemed stable, well enough, in fact, to get a massage that night. And that's the detail people can't shake. It's the kind of detail that makes people pause. If she was dealing with serious respiratory issues, why bring a massage therapist into the home that late in the week? That question has never gone away. Another point people keep raising is that the identity of the massage provider was never widely clarified publicly, which, fair or not, left room for speculation. The coroner's report also noted no history of substance or alcohol abuse and no known underlying health conditions. By most accounts, Kim was considered healthy. All of that only kept the questions alive. Not long after her passing, one of the first people to publicly challenge the official explanation was Kim's ex and Quincy's biological father, Al B. Sure, Al has repeatedly said he saw Kim not long before she passed, and according to him, she didn't appear seriously ill at all. Over time, he became more vocal about believing the official summary didn't match what he personally witnessed. In one post, he suggested he didn't believe things happened the way they were presented publicly. He pointed to how strong and healthy she looked around that period, including family milestones they had just celebrated, especially Quincy. He ended that post with a hashtag that many people interpreted as a shot at the public tributes that followed. The post didn't stay up long. Al later deleted it and said Quincy reached out to him explaining that the post was triggering. But even after deleting it, Al never fully walked his stance back. He continued signaling that, in his view, the official story still didn't add up. And once that post disappeared, the internet did what it always does. It filled in the blanks. Some commenters speculated Quincy had been pressured to step in. Others claimed someone wanted the situation controlled or wanted distance between Quincy and his biological father. None of that is confirmed, but it shows how quickly narratives form when people sense influence behind the scenes. Through all of it, Al stayed firm. He didn't soften his position just because it made people uncomfortable. Then, in November 2021, he posted a throwback photo with Kim and Quincy that reignited the debate all over again. In the caption, he referenced something he said Kim once told him: life imitating art, art imitating life. he followed it with more hints, suggesting there was more Kim shared with him privately than the public ever heard. He framed it as her dealing with something serious behind the scenes, and claimed he had urged her to contact authorities. In the comments, he went even heavier. He didn't spell things out, but he made it clear in his words that people wouldn't believe what she went through. And that's why the post landed the way it did. Not because it was specific, but because it sounded like he was pointing toward a larger story without saying it outright. Then, things took another turn. Not long after that period, Al was hospitalized for a medical emergency that was never publicly explained in simple terms. Later, he said he collapsed unexpectedly while working in the studio. According to him, doctors were shocked by how many serious issues showed up all at once. What followed was extreme. Al has said he spent nearly 2 months in a coma. When he woke up, he revealed he had undergone major procedures, including an organ transplant, blood transfusions, intubation, and time on a ventilator. It was life-threatening. Fans were shaken. After that, social media began lining up timelines, comparing events, and building theories. Those comparisons aren't proof of anything, but they show how fast suspicion spreads when people already feel like a story has missing pages. Wow. And here's the key point in all of this. Even after everything he went through, Al didn't go quiet. He kept posting. He kept hinting. He kept speaking like he truly believed there was more to Kim Porter's story than what the official record says. Over time, the pressure around his claims kept building, until mainstream media finally gave him a bigger stage. Earlier this year, Al sat down for an interview tied to his memoir, and those clips moved fast online. At one point, he looked straight into the camera and asked, "You believe me now?" That moment reignited everything. In that interview, he repeated that he never accepted the natural causes framing the way it was presented publicly. He also suggested, carefully, that he believes his own medical emergency happened in the shadow of him speaking out, not as a proven fact, but as his personal conviction about the timing and pressure surrounding him. He even said he feels something shifted in 2022 after he became louder. That belief can't be verified from clips alone. But once statements like that are made on camera, they become rocket fuel. Social media clipped it, reposted it, argued over it. And suddenly the conversation around Kim's story got louder again. Because now it wasn't just fans speculating. It was a public figure saying, on record, that he doesn't believe the official explanation. Right now, it's still unclear where things stand between Al and Quincy. Whether their relationship is fully repaired. Whether Al is connected to the rumored documentary, or whether Quincy is choosing a different lane entirely. But one thing is clear. Al has remained one of the most visible voices calling for deeper answers, and that matters, especially if a documentary really is in motion. Because a project like that doesn't have to accuse anyone to shake the room. All it has to do is lay out timelines, contradictions, missing details, unanswered questions, and let the public react. That's also why the 50 Cent angle keeps pulling people in. Like him or not, he has a reputation for dragging buried industry narratives back into the light, especially when power, image, and silence are part of the story. And that leads to the bigger frame people keep circling: control. Online discussion keeps returning to the idea that Diddy's world operated on tight control. Who spoke, who stayed quiet, and who stayed close. Past accounts have described Kim's relationship era as complicated and heavily managed, and that portrayal is exactly why questions never fully went away. Now, with Quincy's name entering the conversation and a possible documentary on the horizon, many believe Kim's story could be reframed in a way we haven't seen before. So here's the real question. Do you think Kim Porter's story deserves another look? And what do you think Quincy's silence really means? Grief, protection, strategy, or something the public hasn't clocked yet? Because silence can be a shield, or it can be a countdown. And if a documentary really is being built around Kim's story, it won't matter what people believe going in. What will matter is what gets shown, what gets left out, and what questions get forced back onto the table. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want updates the moment this story becomes real, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And keep your eyes locked on Drama and Brief. I'll catch you in the next one.